All right, so third video here. Here's our box fully assembled. You can kind of see, excuse me, top piece here. Yeah, Richard, I didn't even hit record on the last one. Yeah, I already talked about this for about 5 minutes and didn't hit record. Top piece right there. You got to foil the bottom of the top piece that goes right on top. This end, like I talked about, the end down there, the 3-foot piece, that, and here comes Richard with our chicken wire, that 3-foot piece at the very end attaches to the other 5-foot pieces. But this one, because it's our door, we do not attach. Now I put a 2x4 on the bottom, so the 3-foot piece that's sitting right over here right now, it just rests right on top, and then we just take a 2x4 and brace it on the outside when we want to keep it closed. But then on the top here, this 2x4 acts as a support piece, as well as it gives us this 1.5 inches of separation here, which our top piece will actually cover because it's 5.5 feet long, so we can cover that. But if it ever gets a little hot, then what we do is we just slide back our top piece a little bit to let that 1.5 inches to let it air out a little bit. And there'll probably be times when it will get a little hot. Once you get it figured out, you can usually regulate your temperature, but we had a couple times where we spiked to 275, 280, and we had to drop it because we like to keep it around 250. Now, this is our fire pit. We got the charcoal going. It's getting hot, and then we're going to throw it in. And then we got all our wood sitting up there that we're going to throw in as well. Now, the only other thing that I forgot to mention with the box, drill some holes in the 5-foot side on both sides. 1/2-inch pit's going to be too big. You got to go a little smaller than that. So, but you can't even really see them. They're so small, and that with the OSB board, it's hard to see the small holes. But there's 4 holes in towards the bottom of this. The only other thing, this grate, so you can see the chicken wire here, but underneath that, this what is wrapped in tin foil right now is actually a steel grate. My father-in-law picked it up. I can't remember where he got it from, but it's a heavy duty, it's a heavy gauge. That gives us a really nice solid surface for the whole pig to lay on. And then that conduit, those 4 pieces that you can see in there that we got on those hangers, they just spread that weight out of the pig. I only have an 80-pound pig this year. Last year we had a 120-pound pig, and I had 5 bars of conduit going across, and it held perfectly fine. 4 probably would have been fine last year, so we definitely just did 4 this year. So you can see all the tin foil, everything's wrapped real nice. I wrapped this top piece. I'll probably wrap that bottom 2x4 here in a minute. But I also put tin foil on these pavers on the bottom. Again, try to reduce the amount of sand that can have possible contact, and also it takes a heat sink away because those pavers will get real hot. Kind of try to keep some of that heat off of the wood. There's a piece of chicken wire in the pit here. We do that so that we can keep some of the air under the charcoal a little bit. Still haven't figured out a way. Maybe next year I'll buy some tubing and bury it underneath the sand and take it out to the outside and let air flow in that way. But we seem to be pretty fine on heat. I don't think it's really necessary. So, and the last thing, so this chicken wire that you see here is real thin. I think it's just like 16 gauge or something like that. Chicken wire you can get for 20 bucks at Home Depot. I cut it. I cut 2. This is 2 pieces on top of each other, and I cut it nice and long, about double the length of our pig. And what we'll do is we'll put the pig in here. I'll make another video in a minute, and then we just take this extra length and we fold it on top. Now we do that because we go belly down first, but after about 4 hours we're going to flip it. Now what the chicken wire allows us to do is, if your pig's been in there for 4 hours, it'll start to soften up. You try to grab it by the legs, you might pull a socket out. So the chicken wire allows us to grab hold of the 4 corners, and we just flip the chicken wire, and then we cut the top piece off after we flip it so we can start marinating and mopping. So there's that. Again, here's the fire pit right next to us. We got our spade ready so we can just kind of keep coals, keep them nice and hot over here, and take the door off, shovel them in underneath when we need it to keep the temperature constant. I think that's about it for right now. So there's your shot of the box. and I'll show you another video when we get the pig going.